Tyson Fury, Oleksandr USYK, the rematch is upon us. And ironically, my breakdown essence remains the same. I said before Fury USYK won that it was Tyson Fury's fight to lose. And I feel exactly the same way in the rematch, albeit for slightly different reasons. Now, in effect, Tyson did throw away his opportunity to win their first fight simply by wasting too much time and energy showboating and not just getting down to business, particularly with his jab to set up his right uppercut, right body shot. All of Usyk's assets remain the same as they were in the first matchup. The undisputed heavyweight champion of the world has excellent defense. He uses that very active high double guard, but he doesn't glue his hands to his forehead. Instead, he keeps active hands, he parries, he blocks, and more importantly, Usyk slips punches. He has excellent head movement. He'll slip to either the inside or the outside, and that effectively saves him energy and causes Tyson Fury to waste energy by missing the punch. Usyk's second awesome asset is his excellent footwork. Usyk always has live feet. He's bouncing on the balls of his feet. He makes very small steps that allows him to shift angles and close distance undetectably. Probably one of Usyk's greatest assets is his ability to create those tight angles. That's how he overrides his giving away the height and reach advantage. The third asset Usyk possesses is his acquired athleticism. Emphasis on acquired, because it took a lot of hard work for Usyk to develop himself into the athlete that he is today. One example is I have seen footage of him doing Olympic weightlifting style training. And as those of you guys who know who do CrossFit, doing a clean and jerk and doing a snatch, those are not simple lifts to perform. And by investing in himself and developing those types of weightlifting regimen, Usyk has developed explosive power, coordination, timing, and then, of course, overall strength. One of Usyk's best offensive weapons, I think, is his jab, his right jab to the head and left body shot, straight left to the body. If you notice in the very first round of Fury Usyk 1, Usyk used the jab to the straight left to the body to set up his overhand left to the head. He touched Fury several times with a jab to the head, straight left to the body, and then finally, right at the end of round 1, Usyk came in with that big overhand left to Fury's head. That was not a lucky shot. He set that up. And later on in the fight, I think it was the 9th or 10th round, it was kind of a hybrid overhand left / left hook that really got Fury in trouble, stumbling against the ropes, and some would argue that the fight should have been stopped at that point. Now, perhaps Usyk's greatest asset is his mental resilience. Throughout the entire 12 rounds of Fury Usyk 1, Usyk never got fazed by all of Tyson Fury's antics, his, trying to mock Usyk, putting his hands behind his back, throwing himself in the corner, draping his arms over the ropes, etc. Furthermore, notice that Usyk just continually maintained his stance. He maintained double high guard. There were only several instances throughout the entire 12 rounds that Usyk let his double high guard down. This mental discipline is something that I think Usyk forged while he was an amateur, growing up in that Eastern European amateur system. Those of you familiar with that type of amateur developmental system know that it's not about making snowflakes feel good about themselves. If anything, the coaches actually try very hard to break the athletes because they figure, hey, we've got 10,000 athletes at the base of our pyramid. We'll eliminate everybody who can't make it to the top. The people that do make it to the top will be absolutely physically and mentally tough. If there's one key asset Usyk possesses that'll help him prevail over a much bigger Tyson Fury, it will be his mental toughness. Let's take a look at Tyson Fury in the rematch. Well, now, Tyson possesses these sort of God-given attributes where physics is really in his favor because of his sort of oddly disproportionate physique. I'm not saying that to be insulting, but let me break down the physics behind what I'm talking about. I think you'll agree that Tyson Fury has exceptionally long legs and long arms, and slightly shorter torso in proportion to his limbs. And his legs are fairly slender. So what that means is most of Tyson Fury's mass is in his upper body. He's got really long legs. What that does is it raises his center of mass. So now, when punchers throw their punches, they're rotating about their waist, right? So the higher center of mass that puts more torque on Tyson Fury's punches as he's rotating his torso. To add to that, with Tyson's exceptionally long arms, the torque equals force times the length of that lever arm. Well, Tyson's able to generate more torque at the end of his punches simply by virtue of having these long arms. What this means is Tyson's mechanics can be even a little bit flawed, but he can still deliver more torque at the end of his punches, just given his sort of odd proportions. Now that said, it would seem fairly straightforward that Tyson should make use of his reach advantage and height advantage, yet he gave that away in their first matchup for whatever reasons. He chose to fight with his lead hand, his jab hand, down at his side. What that did was it allowed Usyk to close the distance right off the bat. If, on the other hand, Tyson Fury were to just continually stick his jab out, that would give Usyk much more pause in being able to close the distance. He wouldn't be able to close distance simply by walking in. Usyk would have to slip punches, bob and weave underneath Tyson Fury's jab. By pumping the jab out there, Tyson would not only keep Usyk physically busy, but he would occupy him mentally as well. Now, for sure, Fury's best asset in their first matchup was that right uppercut. That's the punch he hurt Usyk with. And it wasn't until his corner, Sugar Hill, created a sense of urgency that Tyson started throwing hard body shots to Usyk. I think those also give Usyk pause on closing distance, so Tyson should make use of those body shots as well. We know that Tyson Fury can switch hit and change to southpaw. I don't particularly think he fights better out of southpaw stance, but his ability to switch stances does help him in terms of adjusting to Usyk's angles, etc. Even if Tyson Fury doesn't remain in southpaw stance to throw a lot of punches, because he's comfortable switching like that, he can kind of maneuver around the ring very well. Now, the two big question marks regarding Tyson Fury are, one, his mental state, meaning is he going to showboat again, or is he going to be a more focused Tyson Fury? And number two, how did Team Fury change up their game plan, given that Tyson's coming in about 20 pounds heavier? Now that translates to a little bit under 10% heavier. So it's not an egregious amount of mass that Tyson Fury put on, but it is a consideration because, one, it is going to cost him a little bit more calorically and oxygen wise in order to simply carry himself around the ring, number one. And number two, what was the purpose behind Tyson Fury deciding to put on those 20 pounds? Is Tyson going to try to stand his ground and push Usyk back simply by having himself move forward? Is Tyson Fury planning on draping himself over Usyk and or grappling with Usyk? Tactically, it could be to Fury's advantage to try to lean over on Usyk and wear him down, force Usyk to carry his weight, and simply drain Usyk's batteries in the hopes that Tyson can pull ahead in the later rounds. But again, simply having more mass to carry around does have a cost on his own part in terms of being able to generate enough or to have enough energy to simply move around and be offensive wise himself. Now, how did the two fighters match up? Well, the old adage goes that if there are two good fighters, bigger good fighter will prevail. However, in this case, I think the edge could go to Usyk based on simply mental toughness, meaning Usyk's physical and mental abilities have been forged through duress. I understand that Fury's put himself through sort of monkhood in his 3-month training camp, but I feel that overall, in the long run, Usyk is the more mentally tough athlete. So I expect Usyk to prevail and find a way to win this fight via decision, more than likely. So I've read some of your comments. Some people feel that Fury will get a KO over Usyk. Some people feel it might end in controversy, which is also a great possibility. How do you guys have it? Do you think Tyson wins this one and we see the trilogy, or do you think Usyk will remain undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? Let me know in the comments.